In Microsoft Excel, as most other Microsoft programs, we have the ribbon available to us with all of our features and functionality. So what we're going to do now is just take a look at some of the tabs we have available, and we'll go over each of those individually later on. And then we're also going to discuss some of the new tabs and functionality that has been added to the Excel user environment in Office 365. So right now we're in our quarterly sales document. As you can see, we have some data here, but I want to bring your attention up here to the top. Just below our green title bar, we have our ribbon. So first up in the ribbon, we have File, which is a very typical feature that most people are familiar with. This is where you can go home, for example, into the Excel user interface. You can create a new document, open an existing document. You can get info on your document or save. You can also print and share, even export or publish your document. So moving forward from that, our General tab is the Home tab. As you can see, we're on that right now. And this offers us these groups here. So for example, as you can see on the left, we have the Clipboard group. And it's denoted just kind of by that little line, as you can see. It separates the clipboard from the font group, for example. So each of these chunks are called groups. We have one for the clipboard, one for fonts, alignment, numbers, styles, cells, editing, and ideas. So each of these tabs, as we go across, will have their own groups, which just helps to kind of signify what each of these functions are doing and just group them in a logical order. Now, if you want to access all the features of a group, you can click on this tiny button in the bottom right of each group, which opens this dialog box here. So this gives you a bit more of an in-depth view of these options and some extra options down below. So again, we have these groups available to us, and I won't go into these too in-depth right now. We'll go a little further in depth once we start using the functionality. But I just want you to see how they're set up. So if we look at the Insert tab, we have groups for tables, illustrations, add-ins, and so on. And as you can see, it's a very logical order. Now we have this Draw tab, which is actually new in Office 365 and 2019. This allows us to create kind of a custom set of pens and pencils that we can use across the Office environment, and that means that we can actually use these in other Office apps as well, and all of these settings will be saved. So we can use just our mouse pointer to select, for example. We can choose to draw with a touch screen. We can choose to erase something we've already drawn, or use a lasso select, very similar to Microsoft Paint if you've used that before. We can add a pen to what we currently have, or if you right-click on any of these options, we can modify and customize. And then finally, we can convert our ink to shapes, to mathematical equations, or actually create and save replays of inking. If we go even further, we have our Page Layout tab, which just kind of houses all of our theme options and our orientation options for our pages, page size options, etc. We have a Formulas tab, which is for all the formulas that are currently added into Excel. And you can actually add your own functions and formulas into the library that you have available to you. And again, we have formula auditing, calculation as well. And again, there's this library over here for functions and formulas, which we currently have. If we go to the right further, we have a Data tab, which just is some functionality that has to do with filtering, for example, and sorting some of the data that we currently have. We can also actually import data from other files, such as these text or CSV files. And we can manage the data that we currently have using data tools. Then we have the Review tab, which lets us go through spelling and formatting, as well as using the thesaurus or checking for accessibility options, and even translating, which is actually new in 2019 and 365 versions of Office. Then we have this View tab, which breaks down our workbook into different view types so that we can view our data in different ways, and we can see what other people might see if, for example, they're viewing the data in a larger screen, or if you're trying to see exactly what it will look like when you attempt to print your data. We also have zoom options, and we can create new windows or arrange the windows that we currently have open. And then finally, which is something that's new in Office 365, we have this Help tab, which just offers you a few ways to contact help within the community, customer support, or just some online offerings for you that have already been created. So we have our general help button here. We have a contact support button, a feedback button, which you can give feedback directly to Microsoft about your experience with Microsoft Office, a show training option, which shows online training videos that are relevant to what you're trying to do. We have a what's new option showing you what is new in Office 365. As it's a rapidly changing environment, it's very helpful to constantly be checking this. We also have some community options for forum posts or blog posts, which you can access if you are looking for other helpful features. And then finally on the ribbon, we have this Tell Me What You Want to Do box, which is also new in 365 and 2019. Now, let's say, for example, you have a formula that you're trying to access, which is somewhere in the library, but you can't find it. It's kind of buried. It might be something a little more obscure. If you type what you're looking for in this box, Excel will use an algorithm to generate some results based on what it thinks is most likely to be what you're looking for. So for example, even though we haven't input anything here, we already have some suggested options, such as Find and Select, Save, or Show the Formula bar. Now again, you can type anything you want into here, and Excel will automatically generate a list of suggested options for you. And then all the way to the right, we have this little Share button, which allows us to access our OneDrive account to share a copy of our workbook with other individuals. And then we have this little smiley face icon here, which brings us straight to the feedback page. So again, lots of useful features in Excel, and this is just an overview of this massive ribbon up here, and we'll go a little bit more into each of these groupings, dialog boxes, and formatting options further on in the course.
We hope this video helped. Make sure to click the thumbs up and click the subscribe button right here. And click the link above to check out our Limelight classes, a free virtual live training. See you in the next video.